It's your friendly neighborhood podcast coming at you again. As usual, we're a little late. This is, as usual, 100% freaking, what is that his name? Jonathan Esther's fault. So go ahead and apologize for that in advance for next week, too, because I'm sure that piece of shit's going to fuck it up again. This is Alone in the Dark in Tennessee.
Cold Conscious out of Maryland.
So chemical.
Yeah, we're there to disagree. Listen, just to give you guys another reason not to have kids. Okay, my daughter just got her tonsillectomy done, and it has been a fucking nightmare for the last week, and I still got another week left of this shit just being. I'm constantly drugging her up every 4 hours on the hour just to survive this bullshit. So, again, don't have fucking kids. I got about 2 hours of sleep last night because of that shit.
My Lord, I can't remember the last time I only got 2 hours of sleep.
Slow Chemical, you said you had a topic. You want to start it off, or?
Yeah, I can start it off.
Okay.
I don't. Well, Jonathan Ness got on here, so I ain't got to worry about being cut off. You know what I've noticed recently? And I don't think the gay community has noticed it, how much they're being exploited now. Like, they wanted to be accepted so bad, and now the way I see things, it's kind of like they might be getting accepted in their mind, but it's more like people are making fun of them and making money off them, so it's okay. But but a lot of people either don't care or just don't accept it. And I say that because of this. I was watching the bio channel the other day, and I enjoyed the bio channel. I like, not necessarily the bio stuff on, like, people, like, actors and their lives and how they go crazy. It's more about just, like, history and stuff like that. And I think sometime next month they're changing their name to FYI. And it pretty much is going to be like Bravo is. Nothing but gay shows on it and, like, gay reality TV. That's what it's going into. I even did the research. I looked it up to see what the hell they're going to show on this. It's not going to be no bios. It's just going to be gay reality shows, probably something like House Husbands of Atlanta or some bullshit like that. And so it's like one of those things where, like, I was talking to Renee, and I was like, does anybody, like, find this funny? Like, and I don't know if gay people really recognize it. Like, a lot of people aren't accepting them. Like, people really see it one of two ways. Either they don't care, or they can make money off them. So, like, yeah, I'll be your friend for right now. And stuff like and I don't watch these shows, but, like, if I'm sitting here writing some stuff down or whatever, and Renee's sitting next to me, and Renee's turning the channel, she sticks on Bravo, and the guy that owns Bravo is gay. But all you see is gay shows or Housewives of Atlanta or whatever. But stuff that's like, it's not anything embracing you. And then if you look at some of these the TV shows, nowadays you have to have a gay person or a gay couple in it. Look at Modern Family. There's a gay couple in it. Like, every show that you turn on TV now has to have something to do. Somebody's gay in it. It's kind of replaced the token black guy. Now the token gay person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So my thing is, do you guys think? This is what I think. I truly think the gay community thinks they're being accepted when really they're being exploited, made fun of, and it's the way they treated black people. But when you talk to gay people, they don't see it that way. They see it as a win, but it's not really a win. It's somebody making fun of you, right?
Yeah, I can agree. They're just trying to turn a buck off them, rather. Because it kind of reminds me of anybody played Portal, the first one?
No.
People were talking about, because there's a big problem with there being no women protagonists in video games, right? They're always just the fucking princess in another castle, you know? So when a woman's in a game, she's usually just not a person, but more like an object for you to go save or for you to win at the end of the game or some shit like that. Portal had a kind of interesting name because you were just playing a first-person character. You had no idea who you were, and it really never brought it up in the game. But if you put the portals right, you would be able to see yourself and realize, oh shit, I'm a woman. But it was never a big deal. You know what I mean? It was never part of the fucking story. It was never had anything to do with the story. It was just you were a female. That was it. And it was kind of interesting how that worked out. Like, instead of it being thrown in your face, I'm a woman. Like, Bayonetta. I barely played that game. But a lot of that story, even though it's a female heroine, her being a woman is like her weapon. You know what I mean? Her being a woman is crucial to the story. You could have changed her out for a man and it worked the same, you know? But with Shell in that game, her being a woman was just a side event. You know, it wasn't crucial to the plot line. And it kind of made it more honest. They weren't selling sex on this thing. They weren't selling, hey, I'm a female, you freaking female gamers should play. It was just, hey, we got men or women who can do this, whatever, just throw a woman in there. And you never...
Kind of like Mass Effect.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes you could throw, like, I get suspicious when somebody being gay, a character being gay, is the entire summary of their character. Them being gay is that's me. You know, here I am, oh yeah, I'm running out dating guys, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's their entire character, is just being gay. They're not a real character who is just a person going through life who happens to be gay, you know?
Right. I think people... I think, you know, being gay, I guess, is in right now. And, you know, with gay people is one of those things I've come to find out sometimes that, you know, the fact that they're gay, they have to fucking, you know, throw it in your face that, yeah, I'm gay, you know, and all this other bullshit. You know, I don't know. I guess it's one thing, but just, you're right. It's like the token black guy. Everybody has to have a token, you know, gay guy now. Because it's in, you know, everybody, they're getting the rights and they just kind of want to overflood the market with all this, you know, man-on-man action and whatnot.
That sounds ridiculous, man. Because that would be like you saying, oh, back when civil rights came in, you know, we got the rights, so all of a sudden we had to flood the market by showing up at white establishments. I'm just saying that because my experience has been completely different. I've met people that I didn't realize were until they told me.
Yeah, well, we're talking about, you missed the topic, Dave. We're talking about how Hollywood and fucking HBO and all that are portraying gay people, not just in society. You know, not how gay people act, but how, like, shows and stuff like that treat gay people.
I mean, they're forcing it down the throat because it's the latest flavor. That's true. But
than the guys.
Really is.
I'm confused. Are you guys taking it as a positive thing or a negative thing?
Stop talking, dude. Stop talking. Listen to Alan first.
Wow, that was
what
rude.
he's taking it as is more like, instead of it being a positive thing that gay people be put in the media, is they're being exploited for being gay. You know, it's not really furthering the cause. It's just some people who maybe aren't even gay themselves are just using their characters to get more views and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand. I got you. Never mind. Mike's comment now is in context.
Yeah.
God damn.
No, but what I was trying to say though also is that what people need to realize is, I remember going to high school up in Maryland, and there's this new kind of gay going on here. And if Jonathan, that's it, I swear to God, if you cut me off, I'm gonna cut your balls off, fuck face.
Come on, man.
So
you can't say a comment like that.
So there's a new kind of gay. When I was a little bit younger, maybe co-conscious age, which is just 8 or 9 years apart, you could be a guy and be gay, but you would not be fucked with because you would still want to be recognized as a man. Like, I couldn't just walk up to you and call you a faggot. You'd be like, no, I'm a man first. I might like dick, but I'll kick your ass. Nowadays, these new gay folks, and it is what it is. These guys, I used to work with a gay guy, right? He called himself a lady. He wanted me to call him Cookie. So I'm not calling a grown ass man Cookie, dog. and then on top of that, he wouldn't go to the man's bathroom. He would go to the woman's bathroom. And one day I asked him. I said, "Dude, did you get the surgery? Or do you actually have a vagina now?" He said, "No." I said, "Then you a man, dog." I said, "I'm not calling you no fucking Cookie. I'm not opening the bathroom door for you. Not a woman. I'll open the door for my own woman. Why the fuck I open the door for you?" There's a new kind of, as I'm saying, there's a new kind of gay, and these new gays honestly are disrespecting the older gays. If you want to be honest.
Yeah, I've never run into that before. That's strange.
That's the problem that me and my friends always talk about. And people think that we're talking about gays in general. No, if you're gay, then you're gay. I mean, it should be one of those things where it's like you're gay, but you're still a fucking man. The thing we don't fucking like is when you're gay and you fucking dressing up as a girl when these girl clothes and putting makeup and shit on like a female. That's the part that
off degree.
Yeah, right. It's taking it further than what it should be, and then and you see guys like I go to the movie theater and you see guys switching and with the girls and they had the cut shits, and I'm like, and they'd be like, "Girl, please," and shit like that. Like,
hold on a second.
Switching.
To people who don't know, switching is when you walk like a girl and your hips move from side to side like a girl from behind you.
Thank you for that translation.
I was about to say,
I saw Alone in the Dark Space.
Oh, okay. Well, switching, walking like a female and just feminine, it becomes too much, and with all the dressing up and shit like that. That's the part that me personally, I'm not really a fan of.
Yeah, they don't have those new type of gays down in Alone in the Dark territory. They still close.
Hell no.
There's still a lot of open shotguns.
They can't do that shit around here, man.
Hey, Coke Conscience, as a matter of fact, I actually find it entertaining because that brought me to a very interesting moment. Have you met the dude in Mondawmin, the guy who dresses like a girl but has the beard and the leg hair? He wears a full-on dress and heels, but his furry legs and his full-on beard is plainly visible. But he's wearing a dress and heels, and it's the most awkward, hilarious thing you'll ever see at the bus station.
I saw that shit. Like, I didn't know it's a staple of the Mondawmin community. Like, here's Payless, and here's,
No, you laugh. That was so accurate the way he just said it, because that dude does walk right by Payless every time. That's where I saw him.
I don't really spend my time in, Mondawmin Mall. I have a car, so I drive to better malls and shit.
Yeah, he has a car and a life that he would like to keep sacred.
All the way to Owens Mills.
Owens Mills.
That kind of brings
anymore. My bad, go ahead, Alan.
That kind of brings up an interesting topic too, because I was talking to some people. I was kind of watching a conversation before I joined in, because what this guy was saying is he was complaining because he would go out with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend had some gay friend or a gay friend, and this guy would grab on his girlfriend's titties and grab her ass and shit like that, right? And his girlfriend was like, "Yeah, he's gay, it doesn't bother me." And this guy's saying, "No, this shit does bother me. I'm not good with this shit at all, right?" So he was talking to somebody. I don't know how to deal with this, And one person brought up, which is kind of fat. It's not really his job to deal with it. It's his girlfriend's job. You know what I mean? So he was saying you need to go bring that up with your girlfriend, tell her you're not cool with this shit, and have her fix it. It's not really for you. But somebody else came out the cuts and was throwing a fit, saying, "Hey man, you're pretty much a bigot, because would you have a problem with the girl feeling on your girl?"
Yes.
The guy's like, "Well, no, not really." "Well, then you're a bigot then if you have a problem with the guy." I'm like, "Well, hold on a second. That's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, this guy has no problem with gay people. He just has a problem with this gay person grabbing his girlfriend's titties. That doesn't really make him a bigot that he has a problem with that and not a female." And me and this guy got in an argument about it. Him just saying, "Will that bother you?" I'm like, "I have no problem with my wife feeling on another girl. Yes, I have a problem with her feeling on another guy. Because, number one, who knows how she feels about it, okay? My wife's still straight no matter what, so having another man feel on her is an issue. And number two, every time I've seen that happen, it wasn't just like how two females do it, okay, where they're just trying to get freaking the guys amped up by making out in a bar or something like that. A gay guy doing it is usually trying to piss off somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I see a gay guy feeling on some guy's girlfriend's titties, that's usually to piss off the boyfriend, not just to... And there was even gay guys in this conversation who are going, "Yeah, that's bullshit, man. That guy shouldn't be disrespecting their relationship like that." And this guy's still going off. "No, you guys are bigots. This, if you don't have a problem with a woman doing it, you should have a problem with the gay guy." I'm like, okay, well, let's say the woman then. Let's take me out of the equation. Let's say there's a woman, she has no problem freaking girls feeling on her at the club. So her girlfriends come up, feeling on her, shit like that. She has no problem with it. If she has a problem that some gay guy comes up and feels on her, is she a bigot? And the guy's like, yep. Like, damn. So she can't even choose who's feeling on the titties.
Well, then, if that's the case, then yes, dare disagree. I am gay. So let the feeling of the breast begin.
Right. Man, that's a whole different dynamic. I never even thought about some shit like that. I mean, I'm the biggest bigot of bigots if there ever were bigots. And I had to deal with a gay male filling on my girl's yams. I mean, yo. What? It's going the fuck down. I'm trying to.
It's funny because that brings kind of it back to something we talked about before, the whole Donald Sterling incident. That brings back, like, we had a guy come up to my job. No. I'm not drifting there. I'm just making a point using that. I got mad at some people because we were having a conversation, and I told them, I'm kind of mad at the fact that people are brushing him off. I would have actually hoped they would have given him a platform and treated it like a serious conversation, not because everybody talks down to him in interviews or just interviews him and lets him kind of hang himself as his own news instead of having a legitimate conversation as to why this is bad. Because there was the guy that came to my job and he was trying to commiserate with me, trying to show that he was against that kind of thing, and his explanation was, hey man, I just want to let you know, man, I thought that was horrible, which is something that happens in my job all the time. People just think since I'm black, any situation like that, they can refer to me about it because I would know. But he's like, I just want to let you know, I think it's wrong because I think in the eyes of God, everyone is white. Which I was like, I'm waiting for the laugh. I'm waiting for the laugh because I'm like, oh, he's being funny. But the laugh never comes. So I'm in the uncomfortable position where I have to go, oh, you sweet person, you're a racist. Even in your moment of trying to relate to me that you're not racist, you showed me how you're a racist. And it's one of those things where, just like that gay thing, and the guy thinking, you know, hey, you thinking that way is a bigot. It's funny because he's a bigot for putting that much pressure in that situation in the favor of a homosexual. He's a bigot now towards straight people.
Yep.
You know, so I almost want to go, dude, this is something that should be talked about. But, I mean, we as a society are retarded and reactive, so.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. I don't know how that shit's going to play out, but we're definitely going through some fucking growing pains right here. I did hear a funny quote somewhere, because they were talking about, like, how a bunch of, it's like a black church was standing up against gay rights or something like that. He's like, that really shows how far we've come as a society where even the people that we had downtrodden are now lifted to such a level that downtrodden on other people.
Oh, that is a great quote right there. Oh, my God. See, hey, I got a question for y'all, though. So, what if a tranny was filling on your girl's yams? Would y'all be against that shit?
I mean, which way, man? Male to female, female to male? What are we talking about here?
Male to female.
If
No penis no more. Just vagina and breast and shit.
No, fuck, that's her problem.
That's fine. Yeah, that's cool. Hold on. It actually comes up to a thing that I think I might have talked to Alone in the Dark about this before, but it comes up to the same. I had this argument with some people, and they were like, you know, I don't understand what the deal is with guys in this whole thing. And I was like, you need to understand what the greatest fear of a guy is in any situation. If you play 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon in any situation, it will come to this fear if the guy's against it. And he was like, well, what's the greatest fear of a guy? And I was like, it's being fucked. End of story. It's the penetration. The penetration is the same reason guys are cool with girls touching each other, but not cool with guys touching each other, because that fear of the penetration. There's no threat of that in a woman. There's always going to be a threat of that in a guy. That's why in your situation, the tranny has nothing to penetrate with. The guy feels no threat. If ever you see a bigot, you want to run that whole fear by, it will always come back to, I'm just scared he's going to fuck me at some point.
Now, to finish your question too, if it's a female to male person, my equality, my feelings of equality requires me to whoop the shit out of that motherfucker.
right.
just to be equal rights and all that shit, you know?
Yeah.
What I mean?
Welcome to the brotherhood. Welcome to the brotherhood.
Great.
Right.
Oh shit. So what do you think? What do you think, So Chemical? We play that one out?
Yeah, that was good. That was cool.
Yeah, I think we took it pretty far. It kind of runs a little bit into my topic too, because I was reading this article here, and it was talking about men being raped by females. Okay, and my question is for you guys: do you think that this is actually a legitimate problem? Like,
Yes.
do you think that this is? I mean, it's kind of a harsh, because I could feel for somebody actually being traumatized by this, but it still brings up the question of how is that even possible? You know what I mean?
No, it is.
It's very possible, Alan.
Well, I took criminal justice class because I'm criminal justice major. According to the law, a woman cannot rape a man. It is not called rape. It is called sexual assault.
Oh, really?
Oh, snap. For real?
Is that
Yes.
nationwide?
Interesting.
Yeah. Only time.
Shit.
Yeah, only time if it's like a man raping another man, it's technically not called rape. It's called sexual assault. If I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong because Alan's looking it up. I might be wrong with it, but I believe.
Look at that back pedal.
Just
I
like
might
a
be
lawyer
wrong.
already, right?
From
But I
listening to
think-
my law, I'm a criminal justice guy.
Okay,
Come on,
listen,
guys,
listen.
we're all buddies here, aren't we? Come on, fellas.
Hey, listen. I know what you're saying, but I think that's the case. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I can't see it here. Man,
You sound like a senator already, boy.
Dude, it can totally happen. I know dudes who've had situations, because the way the guy explained it to me, he was like, because I was like, dude, that must have been awesome. He was like, as a guy, physically, yes, but he did not want it to go down. It was just, he was kind of a small dude. The chick was butch and hideous. But here's what happened, and here's where he got, because I was like, well, how does it go down? How does it go down? He was like, because your body as a guy reacts to it. You can't, if she's grabbing and feeling, you're gonna react. You're gonna get hard, and things are gonna happen, whether you want it to go down or not. And I was like, well, at the end of the day, you walk out of it happier. He's like, yes, but think of it this way. Think of it this way, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here to make it a little better than what he said. Think of it if Ronda Rousey, all those who know fighters, Ronda Rousey is a really hot MMA fighter. But think of it if Ronda Rousey held you down and you had no choice but to submit to her physically. That'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now think of it if
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey. Thank you. No, perfect.
Oprah ain't ugly though. Oprah ain't ugly.
I can't say
you know
it.
what? Let's find someone else. Let's find someone that is universally reviled. Oh God, that's evil. That's evil. But sure, let's go with that. Think of it if Precious did the exact same thing.
Okay, no. Okay, we can Joan Rivers.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
You got to use somebody else. You got money. I fuck her.
No, here's the problem, man. For me, if your face ain't matching, as long as your body is doing a decent thing, keeping up, I'm alright. It's when everything goes that it's terrible.
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna be the first. I'm gonna be the first on Dare to Disagree. Is this guy an avid watcher of? Does he watch the show often, or he was just talking to him one day?
No. This is way back when I talked to this guy. This was pre-me in the military.
Yeah, nobody watches this
because I thought it was BS. I'm cool with that for as long as we can keep that going. I'm cool with it.
That's a good point. Okay, well, since he probably is watching or he isn't watching, which I hope he is a pussy. Because me personally, I would have. Did he swing on this lady? Man?
No. Dude, the chick, in his description, the guy is like 5'2". The chick was like 6 foot. And she weighed like 250.
Woo!
She just wanted her. She wanted her some tenderloin. She had a little bit to drink. he was not in the able to escape. Nothing.
Well, I call that natural selection. I mean,
Now he's
the reverse caveman.
because I had to look up this actually happening, you know, and I think this guy just goes by Charlie, but it said he woke up with a girl on top of him, right? He had just fallen asleep, I think at a party or something like that. He woke up, this girl is on top of him, you know, he's waking up like, what the fuck's going on? And he realizes that he's inside of her. He freaks out, but he's capable of tossing this bitch, but he didn't want to because, you know, the last thing you want to do is beat up a girl while you're having sex with her. It ain't very hard for her to turn that shit around on you, right? So he just faked climaxing, hoping it would prompt her to dismount and leave the room. Eventually she did, but only after he rolled on his side pretending to sleep. So the next day, I mean, this kid was a college kid, you know, he was just kind of thinking about, well, maybe that wasn't that big of a deal, but it just kept wearing on him more and more and more that he had been violated by this girl. He didn't know her. He didn't know what the hell she had. He didn't know anything about this chick, and all of a sudden he wakes up freaking inside of her. You know what I mean? So it doesn't look like he had as hard of a time like you normally hear women after they've been raped, but it still was a emasculating effect on him. Like, he said that shit bothered him for months afterwards, and he had a hard time, like, actually going out to parties, trusting people, any of that shit after that happened to him.
Well, you don't even have to go that far. Think of it this way. What if, okay, we'll stick with Precious since everybody's unanimously agreed. What if that went down and you were forced by her, and then she forced you to finish inside, and she got pregnant?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? How about that? Now you have to have a child with Precious.
You know, there was a movie that happened. I'm trying to track it down because I can't. I'm pretty sure it was Denzel Washington was like a cop, and he put that dude away from Third Rock from the Sun away, right? And that dude ends up kidnapping him, drugging him up, and having him have sex with a prostitute that had all kinds of fucking diseases and shit like that while he's tied down. So it kind of fits with this scenario. I just can't remember what the fuck that was, you know?
I remember NCIS, the TV show NCIS, had a whole thing, like a whole episode on that. And they actually, I might be mixing it up. It's either NCIS or Law and Order. They had a whole episode about that thing, and it was actually pretty legit, man. The dude, they made a pretty solid case, because the same reaction, people were like, "What is this guy, gay?" Yada yada yada. And the guy was like, "No, I'm a straight dude. I just think that was, you know, I didn't want it. I was forced." And he literally had to go to court and prove that he had been raped. Just, if you think it's emasculating before, imagine then. Granted, this is a TV show, but it was pretty well made. It made a good argument for it.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was called Ricochet was the name of that movie. And it was a pretty shitty movie otherwise, but I do remember that shit happening. You know? So I could see that being a pretty much that sucks, you know?
Yeah.
Give me some disease attacking me.
That's not the way to get out of there. It's not the way to get out.
No, if it happens to you, then I guess it's just, you know, it's just meant to happen. You know?
He looked like a pretty cute little prostitute, though. So at least he did that much.
Minus the diseases.
Minus the diseases. I guess you got to give somewhere. You know what I mean? It wasn't his friend here. Oh shit. Jesus Christ. Anyways, that was my topic. I just thought it was because really, I mean, I wanna say I feel for these people. You know what I mean? These guys, these male rape victims. You know what I mean? It just really is pretty hard for me to picture the scenario in my head. You know, even if something like that happened, I'm still in there going, "Bitch, you still got fucked." that was you that shit happened to, buddy, not me. You know?
And it's probably
just that not everybody's me, you know.
That's just
and for Jonathan Esther to use Ronda Rousey as a, you know, what if Ronda Rousey held you down?
No, that was the positive. That was the positive.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was saying. I was saying we can look at it from both sides of the spectrum. Ronda Rousey was the positive side of the spectrum. I don't think many straight men would complain. But
yeah, that just gives me an excuse to tell my wife.
Precious, just imagine her thundering away from you as you sit there holding your balled up underwear. Can't be good.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard, man.
But you know, Full Chemical's motto: any place, anytime, breathing. As long as you're breathing.
He has said that before.
Damn right.
I
And
mean,
even a little after. CPR, what's that? You got 2 minutes?
I mean, yeah. I mean, hey, look. As long as she's breathing, that's all you need. Heartbeat, a pulse. I don't know about a pulse, a heartbeat. It has to be human.
Well, human enough.
Yeah, human enough because I seen some.
Sounding.
I seen some motherfuckers out here who look like hamburger meat. But
Hold on. Snow Chemical is gonna get this reference. People that look like Frog from the new X-Men movie. My bad, not Frog, Toad. That was a face right there.
I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying, but sometimes the ass just gets you. Sometimes, like you be looking and you just be like, "Damn, she got a big old ass," and she turns around and it's like Freddy.
Yeah, that's when you have that's when you have the Frank move. That's when you have the Frank move. Just go for the ass and nothing else.
No personality. No personality, no anything. As long as you don't have diabetes.
Sorry, I just had this visual of Cole Constance walking and seeing the backside, and she turns. She goes from having like a bikini top to like a red striped sweater with claws.
I tell you, it's
Gotcha.
in Baltimore. Yeah, in Baltimore, you never know what the fuck you might find. Especially you go on Baltimore Street. Yeah, you never know what you find out there.
Actually, I got a little bit of a thing that's been bugging me.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, so I've been having this reoccurring conversation with these 3 people, and the conversation is about this whole gun rights thing, which drives me nuts. Because with my Republican friends, I'll have this conversation, and they'll say stuff like, "How stupid can they be? Don't they see what's going on? You know how all these guys are morons," and they brush them away because they call them morons. And my my Republican friends will do the same thing to Democrats. Like, they're just ignorant, they don't live in the real world, and they'll brush the Democrats' concerns. And the thing that's killing me is I want to tell them, like, I was talking to one of my Democrat friends, and he's like, I don't watch Fox News because these guys are morons. And I was like, you're right, they're ignorant, but don't be fooled 1 second and think they're morons. There's a show called Fox and Friends, and there's a girl on the show. I forgot what her name is.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
Yeah, there you go. That, and she's like the G golly shucks chick on that show, right? So she's blonde haired, gorgeous. Everything is very southern sounding from her, and I can't remember what word it was, but she was talking about a basic legal word. And she was like, I didn't know what it was, guys, so I had to look it up in the dictionary. And The Daily Show made a great job bringing up, like, wait a minute, you're a college Harvard business graduate. This is a basic business word. What do you mean you didn't know what this word means, so you had to look it up in the dictionary? And I had to explain to my friend, I was like, you got to understand, man, these guys, they're not dumb. They didn't get to the position they are because they're dumb. They haven't held the position they are because they're dumb. I was like, here's a perfect example. If you watch that show, you'll notice they go far, but they never go so far that it offends everybody. They only go far enough to offend all the people that are not full right leaning. And I was like, they do this for a reason. They do this because their bread and butter is catering to a side of the public. And they make their money catering to that side. You acting like they're stupid, that gives them less credit than they deserve. Because this is a game they're playing. Is it an unfair game? Yes, but it's a game that gives them money. And the minute, I'm not angry, what I meant to say is I'm not angry at them, and I'm not angry even at the CNN portion of this argument. I'm angry at the people because at this point, okay, who here doesn't think that politics is a rigged game? Like, there are checks and balances behind the scene. They're not doing it only for the people, right? We can all agree that, right?
Yeah.
We can also all agree, I'm pretty sure, that the news media, when they talk, they have an agenda. I don't know how many times I've watched CNN or Fox News and heard them say stuff like, the media says, while I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, aren't you the media? I mean, that would be like me saying people in my house say. You know, it's like, no, that's what you say, or say who it is. If you're gonna say the media, say, you know, BuzzFeed says or Fox News says. Don't say the media as if you're not part of it. They play this up. I think it's called the pronoun game, where they'll say stuff like these people say, even though it wasn't. As if it wasn't them, even though they're part of it. And I was like, they're not the ones making me mad because they're just playing the hustle. The people that make me mad is us. Because we've known about this hustle now going on at least 5 years. The internet has pretty much blown any idea of it being fair out of the water. And yet we're still playing the game. There's still people out there that go and vote full Republican. There's still people out there who go and vote full Democrat. Even though, like, Alone in the Dark and I have said before, it's like, I'm a guy who believes in pro-choice. I also believe in gun rights. Who am I voting for? You know what I mean? I can't get, if I vote for one, I'm not getting the other, even though I believe in both. So who represents me in Congress? And majority of the people feel that way. I know majority of the people that are like, no, women should do what they want to do. And I think if you want to own a gun, you should be able to. I just think there should be a limit on guns. There's nobody representing you in Congress. You're either on one side of the argument or the other. So why are people still falling for the okie doke? Why are people still getting enraged at Fox News or enraged at CNN? It doesn't make sense to me. And yet we keep playing this game. Like, we have the election coming up, and already you have all these people talking politics. That drives me nuts. I don't get it. Like, do you guys...
But see, come on now. Like, there is a lesser evil. You can't look at one side and be like, oh, this side is equal to this side, because, I mean, okay, yeah, you can say that they both gaming a system, they're both corrupt as fuck, but you can't tell me that one side isn't as less corrupt as the other. Well, no, you can't tell me that both sides are as corrupt as each other are.
No, I'm sure one side is a little more corrupt, one side is a little less corrupt, but I'll say this, for example, I can understand someone in a rural area, someone in the woods, wanting full gun rights. They have to worry about animals. They have to worry about locales. Police response is much slower. There's some areas where I know you have to wait up to 30 minutes for a cop to come out to your neck of the woods. So we need to vote down gun rights in that area. But if you're living in a city, like a metropolitan area, do you really need guns? The cops respond within 5 to 10 minutes in most areas. I mean, what are you going to do? Have a gun and hold it out the whole time? Because if you have a gun, like those open carry people who want to open carry in Starbucks that did the whole thing over there, okay, let's say you have your gun. You're sitting in a Starbucks, you're ready for anything to go down. If someone comes up to you and holds a gun to your head, what are you going to do? Quick draw and beat them to it? You've still lost the game. You can't predict when they're going to shoot. So in a rural area, I can understand how you would be more Republican-leaning. It makes a lot more sense. And it's realistic. You're God-fearing, you believe in people. It's a whole other system. In a city area, I understand how you're more Democrat, but
here's an issue I see with that scenario, which somebody brought up to me, which is a really good point. I can't remember exactly which ruling it was on, but if I remember correctly, I want to say this whole family was like being freaking murdered. And the cops came to the house on several occasions. Came to the house, freaking, I think at the first one, the people who were killing these people in this house just opened the door and said, hey man, everything's fine in here, and the cops just walked away. The second time they called, the police just drove by, and the people who were being killed inside, there were some that were hiding in the attic or something like that, saw the cops just drive by and did nothing. They just reported, yeah, we checked on the house, it's fine. And it took, like, I want to say an hour and some change of these people being fucking beaten, raped, and fucking massacred in their house before finally the cops came and did something, right? So the survivors of that sued the police agency. Like, you guys are here to protect us. You guys did absolutely nothing. You even lied over your radio broadcast saying that you checked on the house when you really just drove by. We watched you drive by. You guys, the reason we pay you our tax dollars is to protect us, and you guys did nothing. I'm suing you, right? That shit got thrown out on the basis that police officers are not required at all to defend you. Let's say you're being stabbed to death in the middle of the street and a cop walks by. If that cop just keeps walking, there's no law saying he has to do shit for you. He could just keep it moving, man. Nothing's there requiring him to actually do shit for you. And if you look at what the police do, like, you know, there's all those people getting killed, and the police response was, like, let's say your shit gets stolen. I had a fucking whole bunch, couple $1,000s of shit stolen from me. The police came down, took a report, and left, right? In Colorado, a bank got robbed, and those police, the entire police force came out. Mind you, this is insured money, okay? This bank isn't missing out on anything. This is insured money. Police came out, stopped like everybody within a 6-block radius, made all these citizens stick their hands up and things while they're aiming fucking assault rifles and guns at their heads and shotguns at their head. Finally, after like 15, 20 minutes of them having to sit there with their arms with us, got them all out, laid them all on the asphalt, and including some guy. I think they threw down some old man who had like busted knees and a bad back. He was refusing to lay down because it was, you know, would severely hurt his back. So they freaking threw him down. They did all that shit for the bank. They did nothing for the citizens. So me having a gun, yeah, the police response might be great, but I need a gun to defend me, not.
I understand the argument, and again, as I was saying, I get that point. Like, there's gonna be exceptions to every rule in any situation. You know, the rural areas, there are gonna be instances where they're gonna abuse the gun privilege. Clearly, they're gonna shoot beer cans and accidentally hit a kid or something. And in the city, there are gonna be situations where you're gonna trust in the cops and they're gonna stab you in the back. It's the risks of having a system of that sort. What I don't understand is people acting as if, like Calhoun just did, is people acting as if their side is justified instead of relating to the other side and going, yeah, I can see why that side would argue.
Well, I think a lot of people feel like he does right now, where, yeah, both of these sides are fucking up, but mine's just a little better. And I think that's the biggest problem in the U.S. right now. Like, we're voting for these same assholes, even though we know them. Like, let's take the anti-abortion people, right? The pro-life people. They've been wanting abortion outlawed for freaking years, right? I mean, since the shit came about, there was a lot of things that just came into existence because abortion was legalized in the U.S., okay? So let's take their case. This entire time, they wanted Roe versus Wade overturned. And there has been several times, including as recently as Bush's presidency, for that to happen, for it to get overturned. And you know what the government did? You know what the Republican Party did? Nothing.
Jack squat.
Now, I was kind of always wondering about it. I understand why big government doesn't really give a shit either way, right? And it kind of benefits big government in the first place to have these kids who they would have otherwise have to feed put down, you know? But somebody else brought up another point, is there's a lot of people who vote for the Republican Party just because they're anti-abortion. That's the only thing that relates to them, is they are anti-abortion. And there is huge amounts of people who are like that. A lot of, like all of the Catholics. A lot of Catholics are pretty well left-leaning. But the one thing that they cannot let go of, what's considered a mortal sin, is abortion. But let's say tomorrow abortion's illegalized, and then we have another election. Those people who were completely Democratic leaning, they were only voting for the Republicans because they wanted abortion legalized or illegalized. Now they have no reason to vote for the Republicans anymore. Right. So they got to keep dangling that fucking carrot, otherwise they're going to lose a whole bunch of fucking votes if they actually make that shit illegal.
Good point.
I lose. Oh.
I mean, I agree. I'm just, like, I don't even know why people vote. like the concept of voting, like for example, and I know you're gonna understand this. I don't know how many of the people watching are gonna understand this. Um, so when we vote, there's another vote that happens. Do you know which one it is? Alone in the dark.
The Electoral College.
There you go. The Electoral College. I remember I was already anti-voting because of just what we just talked about. Because I was just like, I don't really see. I mean, I've seen liberal presidents and I've seen Democratic presidents, and I'll be honest, their like term tends to be very similar. Like, we voted for a Democrat because we wanted to get out of war. We drone strike and killed more foreign people under Obama than we ever did under Bush in a war situation.
Under our Peace Prize winning president.
Yeah, it was the most. So I was like, okay, so the system is clearly broken. But then you want to go into that kind of thing like the Electoral College, which, and please correct me if I'm wrong. The way it works is if we vote as the American people, and if we quote unquote vote wrong, the Electoral College is supposed to rectify that by voting correctly for us, right?
Well, I think it's.
And I'm doing broad strokes.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much how it comes out.
Sounds like that's not a democracy. Because if we vote a cannibal-eating, mass-murdering sadist into office, that should be our choice. There should be nothing correcting that. You know, if we vote for Satan in office, that should be the people's choice. It shouldn't matter whether it's the right vote or wrong vote, because the people chose it. So the Electoral College sounds kind of like a very convenient gambit.
Let me here's the leading problem of the electoral college. Okay, look at this picture right here. Now, what that whole pink outline is one district.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Now, why the fuck isn't it just a square? You know what I mean? Look at all those. You could see the grids inside there laid out. Why didn't they just make it a square? You know what I mean? The reason it is there is no rules in place of how you build a district. You could do it however the fuck you want. Okay? What these guys did is, you see these stretches, these lines going out here? They made sure to keep. It has to be one fucking section, right? They made sure to keep all the, let's say, Republican voting people inside this section. You know, in these roads right here, this might be the richer neighborhoods where people are more likely to be Republican, right? Here we go. We got to go over here and skip this black neighborhood right here that's probably going to be Democrat. Let's get these white people over here that live by this freaking shopping center right here. What this does is, there's no way that district is ever going to change hands. This is a gerrymandered district is what it's called. Okay?
Yeah.
And what this does is let us all vote however the fuck we want, but it doesn't matter because they know this district's going to be red, so they know how this state's going to end up, they know how the election's going to end up, and that's how this shit just plays out. You will never win this fucking district over to like an independent. The Green Party will never come in here and win this. They built this thing specifically. Look at that little hole in the bottom right-hand side, kind of towards the top of that pink section. What is that? That's probably a black neighborhood or something like that they had to skip to ensure that this thing kept voting correctly. This is how this shit is completely rigged. Your vote means less than fucking nothing. Seriously, if you spend that time voting to go pick up a fucking tin can and go recycling it, you've made more money than your vote is ever fucking worth.
To be fair, that's Chicago. Probably only the percentage of that people in that box vote. To be fair, I mean, Keith, I mean, you know, to be fair, ain't like you said, it's Los Angeles, no shit like that. It's Chicago. All that pink you see right there, it's probably all people who fucking vote. All that shit in the middle, it's probably all the black people, and they probably wasn't going to vote anyway. So.
But here's the funny part about that. You bring up LA. LA has the same problem, dude. The exact same problem. Everywhere has it. This is not just a Chicago problem. This is a everywhere problem. The Democrats are also doing it. It's not just a Republican thing. So it's I don't know. I remember when I first started actually listening to politics, and I remember when I would hear stuff like, Ohio is already set on red. We don't have to worry about the red states or the blue states. We're fighting for California. And I was like, what in the world does that mean? You don't have to worry about the red states or the blue states? Because I would think every election season.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Who the fuck is that in the background?
Oh no! Again,
There's LA.
Look at that.
Oh, okay.
What's that between the 5, the 4, and the 10? What is that?
Compton.
Probably. That's the sad part. But it's one of those things that I've never understood. Like, okay, what do you mean red states? What do you mean blue states? Every state should be up for grab every year because people should come up and plead their case and people should listen thoroughly. But things are set up in such a way where they don't even have to worry about it. They're just like, oh no, we know they're going to vote red. We know they're going to vote blue. It's silly.
It's filthy. That's why I don't waste my time, man. I mean, it is a complete...
Agreed.
We talked about it before. The only thing that's ever going to change this system is a violent uprising. And it's going to have to be violent because this place has the whole military, all the police militarized to stop you from doing that shit. But you know why that shit's never going to happen? And somebody worded it beautifully, and I want to say it was someone from freaking ancient times, but somebody said a populace will never revolt as long as they're well-fed and entertained. And goddamned if we're not both.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think Slow Chemical said it one time. He was like, the reason that probably will never get changed because, like I said, people are fucking too scared to uprise. The only thing we're going to do about it is, people are going to bitch and complain, and then nobody's really going to do anything about it.
But that's true. Now,
nobody's really willing to risk. Cause I mean, if we actually have an uprising of violent uprising, as you guys say, there are going to be lives lost, and nobody really wants to lose their life over something that really does need to be changed. I know,
That's I do want to make a point too. It's not knocking people that are willing to sacrifice, a good society just to be alive. It's not knocking that. I mean, I know. I'm going into a revolution. You could lose. People could turn against you. You could turn horrible.
You don't know who the fuck's gonna win.
Exactly. But I think what was it? I'm trying to remember what I heard. Somebody also put that in a different way because they were like, oh dang, it lost me. But the point I think just to paraphrase the point they were like, look man, revolts aren't always successful, and you're not always going to be on the good side of the revolt. Like in the 1820s, actually no, 1720s in England, there were Puritans that wanted religious equality. Because they were like, hey, everybody should just be able to practice any religion they want to do. And those guys were amazingly understanding and amazingly ahead of their time. For that, they got slaughtered and tortured by Protestants and Catholics. Oh, yeah. So it's like, you might be ahead of your time, son. You might be right 100%. That don't mean it's good for you and your family.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's kind of like, it's kind of funny with the Southern Baptists. Because in order for them to exist, they needed religious tolerance back in the day. But nowadays, they are fighting like motherfuckers to make this a Christian nation. They kind of forgot their roots, where if this shit had gone down the beginning, it wouldn't have been a goddamn Baptist that survived that thing. They did not have the numbers to survive back in the day. They would have been wiped out if we didn't have religious tolerance back in the day. If our founding fathers didn't fight for that shit. So they don't understand that them fighting this shit, they think they're going to win. There's a good chance that might not happen, and you're the one that gets wiped the fuck out.
That's why it's always amusing when you hear, like, like a Baptist or a Catholic say something like, I know the truth. I know my religion is right. Because I'm like, if you had studied even 5 minutes of your history, son, you would know that is not true. Because, one, you guys were persecuted, and two, you guys have murdered the heck out of a lot of people in the name of this good thing you're claiming is right. I'm not saying that it's something wrong to believe. I'm just saying with complete confidence.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't deal with that nose anymore, so I'm muting it.
That was
You need to shut them bitches up behind you, man.
Yeah, who is that?
No, I'm in a Starbucks. So.
Aren't you black folks and they're supposed to be the loud ones? I'm hearing every fucking buddy else making noise but you.
I'm the only one of that hue here.
You made the uprise, huh?
It's funny you said that. It's funny you said that. I just had a conversation today where I told people, I was like, I've lived in Baltimore over 4 years, and I will tell you this, I've never seen ruder people than in Laguna Beach retail.
Really?
We had a dude come to our register today, get a phone call, and stay at the register for 30 minutes, not caring who was behind him.
Oh, wait.
On his phone.
Shut down the register and move to another one.
Oh no, I went to another one, but I went because I could have told him to go away, but I was just fascinated. I wanted to see how long it runs. 30 minutes.
No.
30 minutes.
No. See, that's
He was the nicest
right there.
Christian fellow too, the nicest.
Yeah, I bet he was.
I'm sorry. He would have got a fucking here in Baltimore. Shit. He would've got a bullet for
That's
me,
what I was
man.
saying. I've never seen that in Baltimore. Never. I've never even seen someone consider to do that.
Because there'd be a motherfucker behind you like, hey, my man, you want to get this line moving? The game's coming on in like 5 minutes.
Everybody would suddenly be open carry.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Nobody feels that safe to do that shit.
Yeah, he would have got his holy ass kicked. Dude. In Baltimore, I'm trying to tell you. And for you to fucking walk away, yeah, you can call yourself a Marine?
Nah, I had to watch that go down because either way I didn't have to deal with him, but I just had to watch it go down. I just wanted to see how long it would run.
Hold on, let me go down the line and ask. Alone in the Dark, would you allow that shit to happen?
Man, I harass people on a constant basis when I'm out. I'm always fucking loud. I'm always fucking with people nonstop, man. If that dude did that shit in front of me, I would have had the loudest conversation with myself ever behind that motherfucker. He would not have heard a goddamn word from that call. Did I tell you guys what happened when some guy wouldn't let me get to a red box?
Oh no.
So
This is
here
hilarious.
I got a game pulled out, right? And one of the red boxes, and they're charging me $2 a fucking day for that shit, right? If you don't know how Redbox works, you have to have it turned in by 9 o'clock, or they charge you another $2, right? So I'm chilling at my house, and it comes 15 minutes till, and oh shit, I gotta go return this game, right? So I jet over to the fucking Walgreens, and as I pull up, there's this freaking couple, this guy and this girl, standing at there's two kiosks, and they're standing at both of them talking about movies, right? Now, I'm about 5 minutes ahead of schedule, so I'm like, whatever, I'll give them a minute to check out them. I don't need to bug them. So I stand behind them waiting, and they're still just freaking chilling, talking about movies, bunch of ignorant motherfuckers, right? So after a second, I turn to the guy, and I'm like, hey, dude, I just got to return this game. They're about to charge me another $2 in just a couple minutes. You think I can return this, man? And he's like, yeah, when I'm done.
Oh, no.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, no.
So I step back to this, thinking about this. I had my little electronic cigar. I'm sitting there smoking that shit, thinking, what am I going to do about this situation right here? I turn up, and I get up next to him like, hey, man, listen, this thing's about to charge me another $2. How about I give you $1, and then I turn this game in. That way I'm saving $1, you're making $1, everyone's coming out of here happy, okay? And this dude's like, oh, okay. So he steps aside, and he's like nudging over to his girlfriend, like, I got this guy. I put my game in, turn to this guy and say, looks like we're both assholes now, and start puffing electronic cigar as I walk back to my car. He's over there yelling, I'm opening my door, fucking do something, man. And I drove away from the scene of that fucking crime, man. What the fuck's he doing?
And you bitched him in front of his girlfriend, too, class.
Exactly.
Oh,
I love
Sad day.
fucking people
Sad
out
day.
That is hilarious. I can just imagine the fucking cigar, the fucking electric car's like, you don't say.
That dude is walking away like the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland. Just not caring.
That shit sounds like a Batman movie or some shit like that, like a villain.
I just
that
couldn't
shit
believe it,
sounds
man.
like.
Here they are at 2 kiosks. They could have both gone over to one and kept browsing. You know what I mean? I bet you those fuckers don't even buy anything. They're just looking at shit they can't afford.
Right.
Can't take.
That's the worst type of window shopping. Jesus Christ. Can't
Oh
afford
my
$2 DVD.
That is hilarious. Yeah. Hats off to you, Jonathan Esther. I'm pretty sure Slow Chemical would have probably punched him in the face by while you thought of an intricate plan. Slow
No,
Chemical
I just
no,
I could have handled it. I've handled way less, but I was just curious. I was like, how far is this gonna go?
I'm just saying, Alan is more of the scheming type. Like, let me see how I'm gonna do this way the most. And Slow Chemical is the type of person like, listen, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face. You
You're right.
You don't fucking move now.
If he gives him a warning, man. If he gives him a warning.
Right, if he gives him a warning, his best one is, look, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face if you and your bitch don't slide down so I can return this game today.
I can't stand it, man. It just blows my
I gotta
mind.
roll. I gotta roll, folks.
Yeah, I think all of us gotta get out of here.
That's the point.
But anyways, boys and girls, I think that's. Anybody got any parting shots before everybody runs off in different directions?
Indeed, I do. I hate black females.
We don't let them hold. That's
No, we don't.
point.
Terrible.
I do.
What about you, Mr. Esther?
As long as it's gas, or well, you know the rest. I don't mind them women.
Touche.
Calhoun, what you got for us?
I already had it. We don't let them hold.
Oh, okay.
I'm with cold conscious.
There we go.
What about you, Slow Chemical?
I don't know about loving hoes, but I was sleeping one the other day. It was fantastic.
He gets so proper when he talks about the rude things he do. It's so proper.
And I would just like to say, if any women want to try and rape me, I'm a willing participant. We'll see if we could get this figured out, this whole male rape thing. I want to see some bitches rape me till I'm uncomfortable, okay?
Unless you got AIDS.
Yeah, unless you got AIDS.
Yeah.
And who knew Roy Hippen's name was Big Stiff? Oh, man, you missed it last episode. Just go back to the next episode and watch it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you need to rewind that shit. But anyway, Dick Stiff. That shit took me a second. But anyways, this is Alone in the Dark in Tennessee.
Cold Conscious, Baltimore.
Jonathan Esther, California.
Calhoun from the blackest part in America.
Slow Chemical.
Yeah, this is Dare to Disagree. We'll see you guys at 9:17 next Wednesday, I'm sure. Okay.
There are people out there that are mad curious where Slow Chemical is coming from.
This shit.